Today we're going to make a Native American style dress. So we're here at the fabric store and I'm going to go in and see what they have in there. I need to find material that'll sew pretty good. So I found some brown. Looks like it might work. Now this might work for my beads. String my beads on it. Oh, I found some blue beads. So I just got back from the fabric store and I bought some thread to match my material and some like shoestring laces because I may want to string some beads on there, and some tassel, and this it's gonna go like around the bottom of the dress then, or around the neck, and maybe a headband. And then I bought about 2 yards depending on your size, so I think 2 yards is good for me. I'm gonna find a few other things in a couple days, like some feathers. Okay, so it's time to start putting some of this stuff together. So we're gonna do something like this on the neck, probably, and then I'm not sure what I'm gonna use this for yet. I just thought it was kind of interesting, so I bought it. And the strings to string my beads on, so they're probably gonna be hanging from the sleeves or something. I just got some beads, a bunch of different beads. And I got some feathers. Let's take them out of here and see what they look like. So you can get any sizes. I wanted the longer ones. So it looks like we got quite a bit here. So I think we're all ready. So what I like to do before I get started, I bought this like mannequin. I like to get the material and kind of wrap it around your mannequin just to kind of see how you want to design it. And if you don't have a mannequin, you can lay it out on a table. This works for me. I kind of like to just figure out how I'm going to think about designing it. And you can pick up little things at thrift stores like belts. So I kind of just like to just kind of get an idea, because that way you can kind of visualize it first. And so this is how I like to design. I like to just put it on the mannequin and then you get kind of an idea. You know, if you want a long dress. And I also bought this at the fabric store, which I could really use this on a lot of things. There. Maybe line the bottom of it. I just kind of wrap the belt around it. I'm planning on just sewing the sides up, and then we're gonna make a sleeve like this. Do a few more little things on the bottom. I don't usually use a pattern. Sometimes I might use a pattern, but usually I just kind of lay the material out. Actually, I folded the material. I've cut a little thing out for the neck. Okay, so I straightened out all my material. Make sure all the ends are even. Now I'm going to take this material, flip it over on top of the other piece that I've already cut. It's important to line up the neck if you're not using a pattern. I'm going to cut away the extra material that I don't need. Okay, so this we might use later. Okay, so now I'm going to put it back out, lay it all out straight again. I have the material over my mannequin, and this is the shoulder. I'm going to make some sleeves for it, and this is how I like to do it, with a permanent marker. I like to do a rough mock-up by drawing contour outlines for the dress, and then using safety pins to hold and cut the extra fabric off. So this will be the sleeve. I'll cut this out. And you can lay it on a table also and draw it. Okay, so I want a safety pin material so it'll stay together. I'm going to do this all along the side. I had it gathered in here. I've just marked and pinned the left side. And later I'll do the same on the other side to match this. I usually cut the neck out of my material and put it on my mannequin and then just kind of let the material fall. But cut away all the stuff you don't think you're going to need before you put it on the mannequin. And I just kind of go with the way I want to do it. So I make sure that both sides are about even on the side for the sleeves and stuff. So here's what I like to do it. Put the pins in. This is the inside of the material. So when I get through, I'm going to turn it inside out so you don't see all this. So I kind of know where to put my pins. And the thing is to try to make sure this is kind of like not too long on the back or the front side, because you don't want it hanging too long in the back. You don't want one side hanging too long. You want it kind of the same. So you make sure these things down here are together. I kind of pin mine together. So I'm going to go from here, go here, and it's about 6. So let's just get rid of that. Let's just drop that. So I kind of know where my pins are going to go. This is going to be where the sleeve's going to be. So I'm going to make this side look like that side. When I get ready to cut this needs to be cut kind of out. I like to shape my neck of it first. So you kind of know where the shoulders are, you know where the sleeves are going to hang. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see this or not, but to get the sleeves right, I kind of just, so it's at a 6. So I kind of went over here and measured that out, and that's a 6. So I took my felt pen and I just kind of went in. And I want sleeves that's kind of flowy. So I just kind of wanted to make them go kind of like this. Even though that's not the exact way I'm going to cut it. So now I'm going to take both sleeves. They look like they're about even to me. I'm going to take them, go like this. You know that the safety pins are going to match up, so you kind of know where your arms are going to go. So like I said, I like to work with the mannequin because it's already shaped. So I'm going to, again, make sure the sides are kind of, together. I'm just going to kind of I want to make sure I have extra. I'm not going to cut too much because you can always, as you're sewing it, you can always sew it in and make it smaller. So, okay, so I'm going to take my safety pin. I'm going to safety pin it here. So now I'm going to do the other side the same way, and I'm going to take it and sew it. Here's kind of the shape. I usually try to find the shape of the dress. Like I said, I didn't cut it straight, but that's okay because you want extra on the side because I'm going to sew it up now, and whatever's extra I can cut away later. And I want it a little flowy. So that's why I don't want to take the sides and go in too much. It's coming along. So I had just taken it off the mannequin and it's still got the safety pins in it. And I like to use safety pins because you don't have to be perfect on the shape. As long as you get the general shape of a dress or whatever you're making. And that's why you want a little extra, because I'm probably gonna have to let the pins out. I should have left myself a little more space. So I probably should have left a little more space under here because I gotta go inside there and sew it. But yeah, it fits. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my pins. I'm gonna put pins all along here where I wanna sew. I'm not gonna pin this. It's where the arms are gonna go. We won't pin this. And I'm gonna pin up the sides. And remember that this is inside out, so when I get through sewing it, I'm gonna turn it where you can't see all the writing. I'm gonna sew right about here, because I don't want to sew right out to the edges because it'd probably ravel out, so you wanna just have a little extra here. So right about where I'm putting my pins is where I'm gonna sew it up. I'm just gonna go along here along my pins, which the sewing machine will run right over that. I've got all the pins in. It looks a little wider here because I want the dress to be a little wider on the bottom. It's always better to have a little extra material on the side because wherever you sew it, you can always cut the extra off. So I like to have a little extra. That way, if I mess up, I can just take and cut some of this off. We're going to sew up the sides now. And I can just go over the pins because I can pull those out later. As long as you don't run over the heads. Okay, so I've sewn it up on both sides. So we have a few more things to do. Put some feathers on it and put a belt maybe. And hey guys, this is where we're at right now. So I went back to the fabric store and I bought some fake fur, and I thought it would look kind of nice if I put a little fur around the sleeves. So right now we are stringing beads, and I will be hanging them on the sleeves and around the bottom. We're gonna sew this, and I'm gonna make some kind of a belt and then a headband, and then we'll be through. So we've got it all sewn up on the sides and stuff, and it's got the shape I want. So now we're going to just kind of design it. I'm just gonna kind of move this stuff around, figure out how I want it. Maybe I wanna put it on the sleeve. I don't know, maybe you wanna put it around the neck. Maybe you wanna sew it around the bottom. So my next step is I'm gonna pin this down. I'm gonna start kind of designing how I want this to look. I'm gonna design it, and then with some straight pins, we're gonna pin it down, and then I'm gonna pull it off the mannequin, and I'm gonna start sewing the designs on it. And for the bottom, I'm thinking I just cut the material to see what it would do, make sure it's not gonna rip. So I'm gonna take and cut the bottom into a bunch of little fringes like this, because I didn't buy enough of this. I'm just gonna take and I'm gonna cut the bottom, and I'm gonna take my beads. After I cut it, I'm gonna start hanging the beads on the little fringes here. So I went and cut the bottom up, and now we're gonna string the beads. You may have to twist the ends of them a little bit, depending on what size beads you buy. I'm going to string my beads on there, and I'm hoping this will be enough. And I'm gonna do the sleeves the same way. So when you're cutting along here, as you can see, all my little pieces are not the same, but that's okay because we're gonna put beads on there. And so this one's finished. So to keep it on, you have to tie a knot, two little knots on the end so the beads don't fall through. And also keep in mind that you don't want to go too wide with these, because sometimes if it's too wide, the material won't fit. Like I've cut some that's a little thicker than I wanted it. I've got to double it, but you can double it. Just double it like that. Then you have to put a little, wet the end a little bit, kind of twist it, and then run it through your beads. Okay, so here's where we're at right now. I've just put a few beads on the bottom, and I don't think I bought enough beads, so I'm just kind of like skipping every other little string. And then later I'm going to add some blue in, and I've just cut it and just tied knots in the back because I don't think I'm going to have enough beads to put on the back. Okay, so we've added some beads on there. Around here and the sleeves and around the bottom. And I didn't do too many because I wanted to make sure I had enough to go around because I didn't buy enough of beads. So our next step is I want to make like a little cape, like a belt to go around. So I have it laid out right here. As you can see, I've already cut it. I just cut a piece of material and put like 2 little sides on it. I sewed a band around it and I added some strings to tie it on. And these are just like shoelaces. And I just laid the shoelace on there and just took my thread and just kind of went in and out, as you can see. So it's going to be pretty sturdy. So now we're flipping it over. And what I did was just took it and then sewed it along here. And then I added my shoestring laces with some beads on the end. And it's going to go like this, is what it's going to do. It's going to go around the waist. So and I've got it all pinned right now. We're going to do the sewing and I added a few beads. I'm planning on doing some more beads right here. So let me show you how it looks. It's going to come around back here. And we're going to tie it up. Like that. And yeah, so there. This is just about finished. It's kind of like just a little layering to add some extra beads. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the headband. With the same little piece of material I put around the collar and the waist. What I did was, first of all, we sewed on some Velcro. And I put this Velcro on this side. And on the outside, put the Velcro there. And now on the inside, you put the other piece on the inside. That way when you flip it over, it attaches. And you have a headband. And I bought a few feathers. Actually, what I did was just kind of laid them on there to see how I wanted them. And I may add some more, I'm not sure. But you can do it like this. You can do it all along there. Oops. Like that. Or if you choose to, you can just do the sides. Okay, so I got like a couple, 2 or 3 of them, and I kind of just bunched them up at the ends. I just kind of stuck them all together like this. Just kind of, what I did was just kind of laid them on here like that. Here's the way you would do this. Just keep the stems kind of down like that. So when you make your headband, you don't, because you don't want this. You don't want the stem sticking out. And now I'm going to show you something here. This is the way I did it. So just, you hang on to the feather like that. And the secret about this is that you get the thread around the feathers as tight as you can get it. Even if you go in between the feathers, that's okay. Just so that they stay, see? I'm going as close as I can go to the feathers, the stems. And I want it good and tight. Okay, and then what I did was made my little knot in there. Do a couple of knots where the feathers won't fall out. Just get that as tight as you can get it. And then I will cut the string and you have a headband. And so now the headband is ready. I didn't want to put that many feathers, but you can put as many as you like. And so now our next step is to finish the beads. And I just cut the material. Like, this doesn't have to be straight because you're gonna hang beads. And I put a few beads on the tie here. And so I'm gonna put a few more beads on it and we'll be done. So now we're gonna design the boot. I actually have a pair, these are my Uggs. So what I've done is I wrapped some material around my boot. I cut it out like a hanky, kind of like a scarf, where I left 2 little ends on the end of it. So I'm gonna take my material and I'm just gonna kind of fold it a little bit like this to about the length that I want it. And I'm gonna wrap it around the boot. So just tie it in a knot, a tight knot, so that the material doesn't slide down the boot. That way, there's nothing attached to your shoes. You can still take this off and wear your shoes. I actually left it on the boot so I could kind of just cut it. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go along here. I'm gonna cut little fringes. I'm going to do this around the whole boot. So this is what my boot looks like. It's got the fringes. So now I'm going to put beads on it. We are through with the boots. I actually added a few more beads. And I also cut out a little material to wrap around my braids. I'll just take a hairband, just kind of wrap it around as I'm putting it on. It'll go over my braids to just kind of match the outfit. I actually added a few more beads because I just thought it would make it pop it out more. And we're done with the Native American style dress. So I will try all this on for you guys and show you what it looks like.
Me say meow meow. If you like what you saw, please give the subscribe button a pop and check out another video here.